Hey, what's good? What's happening, y'all? Y'all already know who this is, and it's definitely your favorite soul for y'all. Sure, come back at
Hey.
you one. Look, I'm coming back with y'all with the exclusive reviews back to back with Artist of the Week, and I got my man Favorite G onto
What's
the bill.
cracking? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man? Let the people know how you doing.
I'm doing great out here in LA, living. It's a nice day. It's been kind of gloomy, but it's a nice day today and just chilling.
Just chilling.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
hey, man, we've been hearing about Favorite G from other favorite artists of the week, such as Fire Playlist and Nick
Yeah,
Beem.
it's my brother. Shout out to
Yeah, they talk
that's the homies, yeah.
about, man. So, hey, we're gonna tap into it. And yeah, we're gonna tell people about the song that you picked for Artist of the Week as well. So before we get into it, let the listeners know a little bit about Favorite G.
All right. Well, favorite G is I'm originally from, well, first off, I just wanted to say my actual real name is Genesis. So there's a story behind that. So like my real name is Genesis. And so, but everybody calls me G. Um, and so that's a little bit of how I got my name. But yeah, I'm from Oakland, California, the Bay Area. Shout out to the Bay Area. Shout out to,
Hello.
Oakland, uh, Northern California. But then also I spent some time in Manteca, which is about 45 minutes from Oakland, from the Bay Area. And that's where I met, my brother Fireplace and my other friends and family, stuff like that. And then a couple of years ago, I moved out to LA because Fireplace is out here already, but the thing that's been consistent is I've always been doing music, you know. So that's pretty much me. I'm what do you call it, from the Bay Area. And I've just been grinding with music pretty much most of my life.
So how long you been into music?
Um, well, inactively, I would say inactively and indirectly all my life, just because like I come from a musical family. Like my family
Right.
was in church. I was a junior deacon growing up. I was in church choirs as a kid, and my my father was in choirs growing up and stuff like that. So I always heard music was always playing, whether it was gospel, whether it was R&B, whether it was hip hop. And my family, I actually didn't even listen to rap because my mom and my dad split when I was young, and my mom wouldn't let me listen to rap because she thought it was too hard at the time, too rough. And so I would be listening to a lot of R&B, a lot of neo soul, like a lot of Jill Scott and Lauryn Hill, and all of Erica Badu and stuff like that. That's what she would play. And then I'll go to my dad's house, and he loves that stuff too. But then he'd be playing like Dr. Dre and Tupac and E40 and Too Short and everything. So I got like the best of both worlds. And so so it's always been around. Music's always kind of been around, so it's always just like something that did kind of like the back of my hand. I was always hearing melodies. I was always hearing rhythms and beats and just through family conversations and through church and through, it just grew up. But then directly, well, I would say I started working on music and started pursuing like an actual thing, probably with like I want to say around 13 or 14. And that's crossed with Fireplace. My brother, we kind of learned together and both started together. We were like 13 or something like that. So yeah. And then I just been doing it. I mean, to be honest, I'm 27, gonna be 28 now. So I've been doing it for almost 15 years, So
years.
yeah.
Very said that you talked about, him and Nick Beem. That's true. You talked about.
Well, Nick Beem, so what's cool about how music and how things work is I actually met Nick Beem through Fire Playlist because he's a couple of years ago, I was just chilling with my brother Fireplace, and I was just like, he was just like, this dude hit me up and like we linked up and like he sings hella good, and I was like, usually you hear people sing good, I'm just like, oh, so let me hear him. Then like when I heard him, I was like, oh shit, like damn, he really can sing good. And then Fire Playlist put us on a song together. And then from that point on, we've always been, kind of working back and forth. Whether I help him and Fireplace and Nick Beem make a song, or whether we're all in the song, or whether, like just we just been working together ever since. So we just good vibes.
Yeah, that's what's up. You also put him on another project that was with a celebrity artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk that a little bit.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, you're talking about with Mike Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how. So with that song, I knew that. So when he played me Nick Beam's part, I was like, damn, this song goes, like I fuck with shit, and then but then he got in contact with Mike Jones. He was like, I'm gonna put Mike Jones on it. But originally that beat with both of them was like a beat that I made, and it was like, to be honest, it was like one of those like beats I was just in a room chilling, just making a beat, and it was kind of like a throwaway beat, kind of just like, because sometimes when I make beats, I kind of use like a notepad, so I make something and I might like it, I might not like it, but I used to put the idea out there, and
right.
And so yeah, he just usually like how me and Fireplace work. Usually he'll just say, "Oh, I like that beat. Let me hear it." I'd be like, "Really, you like this one?" Like all the ones I showed you, you like this one?
Yeah.
And so I showed him that. He was like, "Let me get it." And I was like, "All right," And so he got it, and he put one of our other producers, shout out to Classic Beats. He put him on it too, and so we kind of produced on that. And then Nick Beam was already on the chorus, and then after a while, he's like, "Oh, I got Mike Jones on." And I was like, "Oh shit, all right. Well, the real Mike Jones, like, he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right." And then I was like, honestly, because I engineer too, so I said, let me mix it, and that was like the first record I got a crack at mixing too. So shout out to Fireplace too. And so yeah, that's then from that point on, like that was that record, and the other one that I did with Nick Beam. From that point on, we all just been working, different stuff.
With he said, "Yeah, Mike Jones in there." Did it make you excited a little bit? Did you get hyped a little bit?
Yeah. So, like me, sometimes like it settled for me. Like it's a lot of times things settle in afterwards. Like. So like for me personally, like the way I am, and especially when it comes to music, and especially knowing that I'm gonna work on the record and be on the record, I take it seriously. So like at first I'm just like, well, whoever it is, we gotta make sure this is good, And so usually that's my mindset is. Usually I'm just like, I'm just like go, like as soon as I get it, I just want to make sure it's good enough so that people can hear it, everybody can hear it, and so people aren't picking out certain things like that. So I just, so I didn't. It was a big thing, It's Mike Jones. He's a multi-platinum silver artist, But yeah. I didn't. At the time, I just don't. I was just like, okay, I got to make sure this is just right, because if he hears it and it's wrong, then it's gonna be even a bigger, thing. So that was like my main thing. And then, but afterwards, now that we talked about it now, I'm just like, yeah, that was dope. Like that was a, yeah.
When Nick Beam said that, I was like, dang, yo, he out here, my man's favorite T out here putting everybody on, man. That's what's up. Let's talk about your selection that you picked for Artist of the Week. I want you to be able to introduce it to everybody if you have not already listened to it, because you should already be listening.
Definitely.
Hey, that's something off Fire on the P.E.G podcast on iHeartradio, all platforms. So you gotta go check it out. But let the listeners know tuned in and have not tuned in to the song yet. Let them know what you chose, and introduce it a little bit.
Well, the song is called "Turn Off the Radio," and so with usually, so I love R&B, and so for me, I love hip hop too. I love rap, so y'all don't crucify me or anything. Like I love both, but like I've gravitated towards more R&B, and so but every once in a while, like I kind of dance in between the lines a little bit, with how I make beats and how I either hip hopish or kind of R&B-ish or something like that. But I just kind of wanted to like make like an actual just regular R&B song, that I like listening to. And so I I made the hook, to turn off the radio, and that was just really because how I write sometimes it was just like kind of like a mental jot, like I recorded it, but it sounded good, and I was like, oh damn, so I was like, let me make like a little like verse to it, and then I'm not really the type that like not consciously think, oh here, let me send this to person, let me send this to the person, but like I said, I trust my brother fire play his ear, and so um he was just like, you should put Nick Beem on that song. I was like, oh really? I was like, and then I thought about it, I was like, damn, that would be, because it's a nice R&B song with a good voice for it too. And so I sent it to him, and to be honest, it it took a little longer than expected, because I had, sometimes when you write songs, sometimes you have a verse, but then you kind of overthink it, and then you want to write another one. Then you're like, okay, maybe I should do this one, and things like that. But then Nick Beem ended up telling me, so that's what was going on. And then Nick Beem ended up telling me, he was like, honestly, I like the original one that you sent me. So I was like, all right, let's just leave that one. So like I don't have a like I love people's opinions on stuff. So especially on music, stuff like that, especially if I trust your opinion, And so I was just like, yeah, he's right, So I was like, I just left the same one, and then we just put it out, like once I got mixed it all down and got it mastered and stuff like that, put it out, and the song really is just about like, how most of us land now in the world, we listen to either YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, or something like that. But the radio is still current. But like how I was thinking was just like, I don't even listen to the radio anymore, really.
Yeah.
And so like if I'm going to my favorite song, it's not going to even be on the radio. Most times it's going to be on my playlist.
Right.
So like I just kind of wrote with that in mind, and then kind of just built, made it more R&B-ish, more intimate, more for the R&B lovers, and for the anybody who else wants to relate to it and stuff like that. So that was like the main concept of the song, and then Nick Beem just kind of slid on it beautifully. So it just works. Yeah, it just works. Good.
I think it's very fire, it's very playful. I mean, it speaks volume. Like I was saying, Nick Beem, like it lets you know like the type of people you guys are. Like it matched the vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know how like to artists, and then you meet them, you're like, hey, it's not. You're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, are you able to tap into a vulnerable side and the side of just creativity of music? So that's really well. What would you say was the hardest part about that project?
Oh, that's funny. The hardest, so like the thing that people don't know about is like the mixing and mastering stage, and in the mixing and mastering stage, like, for people who don't know, that's the stage like where you can record a record, but usually it goes through a process to where you have to make sure the volumes are right, make sure the effects are right, make sure it's going to sound crisp and clear to everyone, make sure it's going to sound radio ready, so to speak, and
Right.
That process sometimes can, for some songs, it's really simple, and for other songs it could be really difficult because you're trying to find tune find every detail, and so I would say that process, like I said, for this specific song, just tweaking certain things, tweaking them, like maybe some words that you said, or maybe tweaking the melody's too loud in the beat or something like that. Maybe, so like just flying to and listening back to back. So I think for this song, usually artists have drafts. So for this draft, I probably got up to maybe like, I want to say 15 drafts, just from like recording and mixing, and then bouncing out, and then playing it in the car and in my headphones and everything. Be like, no, that's not it, and then going back and putting in more work and stuff like that. And then but when the best part about it is that you usually always come to a good result, from doing it. And so I would say that's the most difficult part, was just that part for this song specifically. It's not for every song, but for this one specifically, it was that.
Was that song particularly the you did before, or you had something that challenged you like that before?
Well, I think for me, probably the main part was I produced the record a while ago, like, and I kind of just like bounced it and I exported it out and bounced it and sent it to, started working on it, sent it to Nick Beem, but I didn't. It was one of those things like I told you before, where I kind of just, sometimes I make beats like as a notepad, like I have an idea in my head, or I just want to like just be creative for some reason, just got the creative vibe, something like that, and so I didn't do all the technical things like line up the drums and everything correctly in the melody like I was supposed to. And I didn't realize that I did that because I was excited about the song itself,
Yeah.
And so what, like later on, as I'm mixing and stuff like that, there's a step that you can't really get around, because of timing and rhythm and stuff like that. And so later on, when I went back to it, I was like, oh, damn, like I didn't even really produce this right, So I had to go back in and go back into my other program, Ableton, and kind of set everything right and make everything pretty, and then put it back into the recording program and record it and stuff like that. So sometimes that's just like the way stuff happens sometimes. But yeah.
Mr. Master?
What'd you say?
Did you teach yourself how to mix and master?
Yes and no. So I actually went to school. I went to the Academy of Arts, and I graduated from the Academy of Arts in San Francisco for music production and sound design. But I had most of my music career was without that. So I already understood certain principles and concepts of mixing and mastering before I even went into school. And what school did was just kind of amplify everything and make me understand and make me see music differently, see the world, differently. And so it's a yes and no answer, because I've learned a lot of music just through self-taught, but then I just got to a cap where I would need to learn more, so I went to school for it and can fine tune all my skills. And now I've been out of school for a couple of years now, and I'm still getting better, So
That's real though. Well, how long did it take you in school? Like, how long were you in school for?
Specifically music college, I was in for 3.5 years, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
Well,
yeah.
Like, take your classes up on, like, what school?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What school was the name of the school that you went to?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called the Academy of Arts University in San Francisco, San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
Like, I like art schools was dope. Like, my brother, he does art, he does music, he creates beats, he master, and he's teaching. He has like mentors that teach him different things, and they went to school for it too. So I think that's really
usually how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can create music from sound that you hear. Was that your beat that was on to turn out the radio? That was your beat?
Yes. Yeah. That's usually like every musician has certain ways that they do things. Mine's has always been. I've actually, like I told you, like my family comes from I come from a singing background, and I've rapped since I was like 10. But certain aspects you kind of, I feel like I just learned everything together. Some people, like some musicians, and it's all respectful because I love all of them, but some musicians are just play the piano or just like love. That's what I learned about school. That was the beautiful thing about going to school, was you learned that there are different types of musicians. There's musicians who love to just play. There's musicians who love to perform. There's musicians who love to just be in the studio. There's musicians who love, to make music for games and make sound for games. There's musicians who, so there's a big, huge umbrella. And when I went to school, I kind of learned that, oh shit, like I'm kind of, because there are certain people that I'll meet. Some people just knew how to mix and master. Some people just knew how to rap. Some people just knew how to sing, But I just happened to be all of those into one, just because I loved all of those things growing up, And so, yes, I'm kind of like the DUI, not DUI, I'm sorry, DIY artist. Of just like the newer form artists of the generation ones who can do everything. I kind of I guess fall into that category, But I just never really seen it like that. It's like whenever I want to make a song, I just want to make a song, so I just start from scratch,
I always tell people, like me, I see myself like that too. Like I don't like not knowing,
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Like How can I make this song better? And if you tell me, if I see you do it, I'm like, okay, so how can I do it? You know, tell me what I gotta go get so I can do it and play around with it. And it's not easy, Mr. Master. I'm gonna say that.
No,
It's
no,
like
it's not.
I've done
But
my
it's fun. It's fun once you get the get the hang of it, get the like the sound that you want. Because that's really what mixing and mastering is. It's like, well, more specifically mixing, you can get the sound that you want out of
yeah,
what you recorded, you know. So that's like the best part for me, you know. Like I can create anything, you know. I can make anything, you know, if I know the right tools to, you know.
that's nice. Well, what would you say would be the difference between you as an engineer and you
Mm.
as an artist? What would
Me, okay, that's a good question. But the difference between me as an engineer, um, I'm uh, much more, I would say, much more technical. You know,
be-
like I'm an artist, so I never always believe there. I don't really believe in absolutes. So like I feel like there's always, you know, you can. There's always a possibility. You know, but as far as engineering, I feel like I'm much more of like a technical. And then as an artist, I'm much more freeform, you know. So like as an artist, any melody I can make a melody to any or a write to any song, beat or and like that. But um, me as an engineer, I'm much more, especially if I'm recording someone else, you know, I'm
mm,
much more and doing someone else's stuff. I'm much
mhm.
more okay. We have to make sure that they like it, you know. So I guess you would say engineering when you're doing it for someone else, it's much more um, uh, serving someone else, I guess, or helping someone else. You know,
Right.
it's not. That's like one of the one things my teacher said. They said when you're an engineer, the song is not about you. You know, it's about the person that you're recording. You know, or the person that you're working with. You know, but as an artist, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like I can scream on it on the song if I wanted to. You know, but as an engineer, you can't be like, oh, don't do that, you know, especially if it's their art, you know, like it's their art, you know. So I would say that's the biggest difference. I'm much more focused on how can we make this artist better and more technical, and you know, and then for me, I know what pockets I can hit, you know, what pockets I want to hit, what you know, how I want to sound. So it's much more as an artist, I can think more free form, you know, and do
Right.
um, whatever I kind of want to do. But there's kind of rules, as you know, to mixing and mastering. So like it's in engineering and stuff like that. So you kind of have to follow those rules, you know, and kind
Mm.
of just kind of let the artist be the artist, or you know. And so that's the difference, the main difference, I would say.
That's cool. That's real cool. I mean, I know I knew people that went to school for that, and they would tell me little things about like different little beats that you wouldn't think you heard in the song, and it's there. And I'm like, little tip and
Yeah.
trick, little shit like that. Like even my brother, he taught me how you hear a silent beat in a song, and I'm like, I would have never if you hadn't said that, I would have never, started.
Yeah.
That's real that to not only help other people and get their sound and make sure their sound right, but you're like the best of both worlds, man. You're the engineer and so you can
Yeah.
understand on both. So
Yeah. And
what would you tell all the artists is though that maybe they want to tap into mystery mastering, but they say, man, that's too hard, or I never get to understand it. What would you say about that if they wanted to do that?
um, well, it it's I kind of go by this rule, and it's not I mean it's not a rule. It's a philosophy that I kind of learned over time, and just through seeing other people and growing up and just you know maturing and seeing stuff like that. I guess I've been doing music for a long time. I kind of go off of like you don't have like if they want to do it. Um, I would encourage every artist out there, if they're listening now, every artist to learn because that's the way the world's music is going. Music is accessible nowadays. Everyone can get a microphone. Everyone can get a program and record something.
Yeah,
So I would suggest that every musician artist learn how to use, you know, Pro Tools or whatever recording program they want to use and figure out how to, you know, mix and master and do their own stuff. Um, but I will say that you it can be, it's tedious. It's very tedious, especially mixing and mastering. It's very tedious, and it's very fine details that you have to pay attention to. So if I would really say, I'm sorry to sound this cut and dry, but if you don't like it, then it's one of those things like you have to really like it in order to do it. If you don't like it, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You have to really love clicking and fine tuning and bouncing it out and making sure, and maybe it might not be right when you bounce it out. You got to go back and do it again. It's very, tedious. So if you don't fall in love, I feel like I don't know if people know the basketball player Blake Griffin, but he had a quote a while ago that I listened to, and he said that that his coach told him, in order to be great, you have to fall in love with the process.
Yeah, you do.
So I've always that's always kind of stuck in my mind, and I love the process of making a song. I love making music. I love that mixing and mastering, even though it's frustrating. It's like a frustrating that I enjoy, frustration that I enjoy, and so.
I mean, like anything, you have to like it, in order to be the best. You have to like it because it's kind of like an obsession. Like, if you want to be a nurse, you gotta actually, you gotta like the medical field. Be a doctor, you gotta like serving.
Yeah.
That's really deep because actually you're turning your passion into your dreams all day, every day. You're doing and it's somebody right now listening that one day is gonna get motivated and encouraged by what you're doing, because like you said, you went to school, you dedicate time and you sacrifice for it, and now you're able to create beats and create your own sound as well as give people their sound that they're looking. So that's really dope. That's very big.
And just to piggyback on that, the reason why I know it's possible is because, Drew, my friend Drew, Fire Playlist, my brother, he over the last couple of years, he's progressed more than anybody I've seen, but it's because he's honestly like, he's not the most patient person I know, but like when it comes to music, he will sit there and learn because it's drive, it's passion, And I know I have other friends who will get frustrated after the first 10 minutes and then be like, no, I can't do this, and get frustrated, not go back to it, But he like I said, this is how you look, this is how you click this is how you work this is why we can't do this is why we do this. And he just took it upon himself and just started. When he got questions, that's another thing, you can't be afraid to ask questions, And so when you have questions, just ask somebody or Google it or YouTube or something like that, and after, like what he's been doing for 2 years, doing all that type of stuff, and he's doing fine. He's dropping his own records now. That's the point. That's why I taught him, so that he can do his own stuff and not be self-efficient and not have to depend on anybody else. And that's why I told you, said that every artist should want to strive for that, because there's going to be a time where, like where you're just gonna have to do it yourself, especially with this pandemic. Like, so many studios were closed, and and so many artists, that's unfortunate, but so many artists, because they didn't know all the know how to do stuff, didn't release as much music that they probably could have or should have or wanted to, because they didn't know those steps. So I would just encourage everybody to try to figure out something, how to just click record. Then you can always find an engineer, you can find me if you want to like, but as long as you can click record and put the beat on there and record a song or something like that, there's engineers that got you, So
like I said, like, you have to believe in yourself. You want to do it, you love it, you should do it. Don't do it, like you said, because if you don't like to mix and you find it's not for you, you're not going to want to spend no time into it. It's just going to be there. So.
And you might end up kind of disliking it, and that you don't want to end up doing that, because it's music. You shouldn't, if you love it, you shouldn't even dislike nothing in it, really.
Right.
It's the thing that brings you joy.
Hey, I like man right now to turn out the radio, play it on all platforms. If you have not heard it, stop right now. Go tune into it. Make sure you guys also tap into my man Nick Beem and favorite play Fire.
Us together, we have like a little thing, favorite playlist. That's like we're working on it, like a joint project called Favorite Pillars, where it's both of our names together. Coming, we don't have a set date, but we got some songs, we got some hits, in the stash.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Project that y'all working on coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon. And also,
I like
I also have where I'm always working on a project. So
always that project you just dropped on me. What other projects are you working on that you would like the listeners to know? To definitely stay tuned in with you on.
Well, just for the first time, I actually I'm not actively working on a album or project.
Okay.
I usually that's usually what I normally work towards, but I kind of want to now that I know more, I kind of want to go back in time and kind of do the same process that I did, but do it with stuff that I know now. So like right now, I'm just releasing singles and trying to work with more people and trying to get more visual stuff out there too. And then I feel like, I have to myself, I've already released maybe 3 or 4 projects, albums or EPs and stuff like that out there that everybody can find on digital media once you go to, but album for me personally, an album is always coming, but I'm not actively working on one. I have a lot of songs, I have a lot of stuff that I just want to work with people on. So if any other artists want to hit me up, let's work,
Man, hey, like you just like coming out, just telling people how to keep moving forward and just miss their master, or even just tapping into this side. It literally opens the door for other people to see that, like, you know what I'm saying? If he can produce to be here today, 10 plus years strong, then you gotta definitely put. I feel like if you're lifestyle, if you're committed to it, it's a lifestyle. If you're not committed to it, it'd be like a diet. It's just a plan. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's real.
So you gotta turn that plan into a lifestyle. And man, favorite G, man, this what you've been doing for the past few years, is turning this talent, these skills into a lifestyle and sharing it with so many people. So that's so positive. That's so uplifting. You definitely gotta keep tapping in. Y'all go check out his new song.
Please.
Right. Turn off the radio on all platforms. And man, look, leave a message with the audience right now. If you can tell someone how to keep going in the simplest form, and let them know right now how to keep
one, I want to say you always gotta, whatever you believe in, I believe my faith is Christianity, so I believe in God, but whatever you believe in, that has to come first. You can always have faith, like if your faith is stronger than faith is pretty, you gotta have faith in God, you gotta have faith in yourself. And that, I would say, those are probably the 2 biggest things. You have to know that there's peaks and valleys in life, so you're not always going to be up. Sometimes you're going to be down, but it's just how you respond, and so I would just tell everybody, if you have passion about something, stay resilient, stay humble, stay open-minded, put your ego aside. It's hard, put your pride aside sometimes, and I'm telling you, beautiful things can happen when you just keep going, be resilient, do all those things, so I would say just keep that.
Yeah, I definitely gotta keep going. And look, let them know where they can shout out to you, or they can get in touch with you on social media too, even after the podcast.
All right, y'all can check me out on Instagram at favorite_G. Twitter is at your favorite_G. And go on Spotify, hit that follow link,
Yeah.
Go on SoundCloud, hit that follow link, It'd be very much appreciated.
Always, man. It was a blast into who Favorite G is, man. Lay back.
Yes, it was a blessing for you too.
Yeah, you always family P.E.G podcast, man. So I love you. I appreciate it. And look, man, if nobody y'all today, tomorrow, they love y'all. So Charlotte loves y'all. Favorite G loves y'all. Look, Artists of the Week is always gonna come and tap in back to back, because they're blowing up the list, they're blowing up the fire, they're blowing up the views. If y'all again have not tapped in to turn off the radio with my man Favorite G, y'all sleeping. So follow, Go subscribe on everything he has and show him that love, man. And look, thank you, Barry G, for joining me on the P.E.G. podcast. I appreciate everything, bro. It was love.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you too.
Always. Y'all stay love.